Hello and welcome to episode 47 of the MotoGP Career mode. In today's video we will be off to Sepang for the penultimate round of the MotoGP season, but the eagle-eyed viewers will have seen on screen I do have one received proposal, and that will be from, I'm afraid, Aprilia. So we obviously knew about this contract offer, we compared it in the last episode. We're going to have to refuse it. I'm not going to change my mind. We are leaving Aprilia, even though we've won races and we've had podiums and we've had pole positions and front rows, and of late we've been on it, but it still hasn't been enough for me to be convinced to stay with the team. But as you can also see, I'm still massively in debt, and I'm starting to wonder, does it matter that I'm in debt? Because I have got no email saying unable to pay sponsors or whatever it has to be. So I'm wondering, does it really matter? Because I know in the F1 games, if you get down to a certain point, a certain threshold, you will get an email saying we're under budget, you need to maybe shut down a facility, XYZ, whatever like that. But in this game so far, I've gone up to $250,000 in debt in credits at one point, and I've yet to receive any notification. So I presume it doesn't matter, but I still want to get it back up so I can do more Moto 3 development. The bike is being developed, which is grand, but I can't do any of the team development, which I was kind of hoping I could get a few more on, but since the last 3 weeks I've been in debt, I can't really do anything. So it's just a matter of trying to get the books balanced, and we'll go from there. But anyway, quick update, it's time to get into Sepang. So we are absolutely on fire this weekend. We have topped practice and we have just been really good. Pace on our own is very good. So I am quite looking forward to this race. And yeah, let's get into qualifying. Let's go and see, can we grab pole? So here we are. We have a minute and a half left in the session. The current PB of the session is a 58.3. from Jack Miller. We come down into turn 1, and at the end of the video I am going to compare my fastest race lap with my fastest lap of the pre-season test before the season started. And yeah, it's going to be pretty amazing how much the bike has improved. Now it will be a lot as well I would improve, but just look at there, being able to back the bike in, bang it on the apex. I couldn't ride the bike this way at the start of the season. This bike really has grown so much, to the point where it's a shame really I would be leaving, but these things happen. But we're halfway around the lap almost, and we have a red sector up. We come into the third split any second now, and this tricky double right here, and we're just under Jack Miller's time with double red, slightly wide there on the exit. But we come down into this difficult corner here. Miller's actually had a crash himself in the session. Once again, the bike protesting, perfect apex, get it up onto the fat piece of the tyre, and really push it for the rest of the lap. Now it'll be interesting what our third split time will be. Coming into the third final corner on the track, flicking it over, the split should be just about now, and we're still just under. We are way wide there though in turn 14, the penultimate corner. Hard on the accelerator down now to the final corner on the track. Up as far as 198 miles an hour, just touching the curb ever so slightly. We do run slightly wide. We're going to take a late apex, get it up, sat up and power out. Are we going to take pole here in Sepang? And I mean just, look at the little gap, half a tenth over Jack Miller. So fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying, pole position. What can we do in the race? So the game recommended hard. Now just notice there, Bagnaia is the only one of the top 6 not on hard rare. He went on a soft rare. Top 12, everyone on hard rare. Top 15. Alright, Rossi, so again, that's a bad result for Rossi. So I think there's 4 men on the track on soft rares. So I do imagine Bagnaia getting a lightning start and disappearing. But that soft rare is not going to last. I think it's a 7-lap race around this track. It's a long track, a lot of it on the edge of the tyre, like this corner here in particular, turn 3. You're going to burn up your tyre, so soft rare won't run the distance. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what exactly this race will be. A bit of a race of two halves, I predict. I don't think I'll have the pace to match him on the soft. Now we might be able to get ahead of him and kind of hold him up, but again, I reckon with his soft he'll punch out of the corner so much better than me that he should be able to pass. But it looks like I have the pace over everyone else. It's just him, he's a wild card, him being on the soft rear. But this could be a chance of a second victory of the year for me, obviously winning in Misano. So here we are now on the grid. Bastianini on the front row alongside Miller, myself on pole. Hard for myself. I have a quick look across at Miller. Looking forward to this one. So here we are, 5 red lights, and we are away finally. Get a great start, moving over just to cover off Jack Miller up through the gearbox. And we've got a great start. Bagnai's already up into third. Bastianini's had a terrible start. We come out in turn 1, and that is a small bit of contact, I think, from behind. I think Miller might have just tagged me. Felt like the bike got pushed on a touch, but we've made it through turn 1 and 2 unscathed. There has been a crash further back, but I can't see who. It'll be very interesting to see what exactly we can do in this race. We can actually get onto the grass. Just a small bit of mistake there into turn 4. And Bagnai's managed to get past there. A pretty poor few corners there for myself, and I've let him escape. This is not what I wanted, because I do believe he's going to pull. His pace should be very good. Once again there, just can't get the bike turned, and that's Rins. Rins on the Suzuki passed, but we managed to cut back underneath him. He was a bit aggressive on the overtake, but Bagnai has already pulled second over me, so this could be bad for my race. I don't know how well I'll be able to pull him back late in the race. I wonder, will his pace be that bad? Ducati being one of the best bikes, and Zarco and Oliveira have a crash further back, but it will be interesting to see now how pace he is up front. Green track once again, yellow flags have been away for the incident behind. Just struggling ever so slightly with the hard front to get the bike to turn in. I have great braking stability, but the initial turning isn't there. So we managed to kind of hold on ever so slightly with him, but he's still pulling away about a tenth of sector, so which is not ideal. Into the final corner we come for the first lap of 7. He runs it massively wide, and actually going to follow him in deep. I kind of turned in slightly early, took a weird apex, but 1.1 across the line is going to be today at the end of lap 1. So still hopeful though that my hard rear tyre will pay dividends against this soft. You can see just how strong I am with the braking. I took about 2 tenths out into just turn 1 alone, but he's just going to have so much more edge grip that, depending on how good my pace is, I don't know really. It's my first time all weekend riding the hards. I rode the mediums through most of practice, and the tyre degradation was quite high, so I felt like the hards were the only option really for the race. But so far so good. We are pulling away nicely from Alex Rins here on lap 2. It's a very long lap here, a minute 50 odd, so nearly a 2-minute lap, so we've plenty of time to keep in touch with Bagnai, and we are slowly but surely getting away from Rins, Bastianini and Martin, rounding out the top 5. Just again ever so slightly wide. A lot of the corners I can't get the bike turning just with the hard front. I find with the hards, especially on the opening laps with fresh hards, they just need a lap or two to scrub in before they kind of get up to their optimal temperature and working window. I feel like they're a bit too stiff and hard at the start, and then they start to come to you after a few laps. So that bodes well for my race, that I'm still in P2 at the end here of lap 2 almost, and I'm getting into the rhythm now, getting the hard tires, shall I say, up into the window. Very tricky corner, turn 14. I rarely get it right, but yeah, I also don't get it right every lap either, so it's quite good for myself. But we're coming up now to the final corner on lap 2. Francesco Bagnai has pulled out a 2-second gap, so he is well on his way from pulling away today. We've over almost a second to Rins. 58.7, so pace is decent 58.2 though from Bagnaia, so he's really using that soft rear tyre to the maximum. That's quite a big gap in times, but we'll see what we can do, because again, as I was saying, each lap goes by a bit more tyre onto these hards and they start to kind of come to me more and more, so I'll have a better lap. But again, just through there we seem to be quite quick in the opening sector. We've taken about half a second out of him. Heavy braking zones, we're seeing a bit stronger than the Ducati rider. It's just in these long kind of flowy corners is where for now his soft rear is just a little bit better. Gap is staying constant though to Rins, and Rins seems to have a decent gap over Enea Bastianini as well, so we should be okay from behind. It's just keeping consistent and make sure we manage the fuel, manage the tyres, and try and stay within 2.5 seconds of Bagnaia for the late in the race, where I do predict his tyre will drop, and we'll go from there. So it's going to be pretty much just an endurance race now, just making sure I hit my markers, trying to do as quick of a lap time again through turn 11. These long flowy corners, I just can't get the front end to turn in as much with the hards, but it will pay dividends late in the race. We are up on the current line doing 0.3 under at the moment, so we're on a very decent lap. Not a bad penultimate corner that time. Get it out of into the last corner now. We're coming up by almost half a second, so we'll take a good chunk. We'll be almost matching his time. It'll be interesting, will he go faster, because we've definitely taken time out of him this lap. Hard into the last corner, front tyre protesting, very stiff carcass front tyre. We'll come out of the last corner up by 0.4 across the line. We don't beat us that time, but we go within a 1/10.5, so we're pretty much matching him now as we here on lap 4. Again, sector 1, I'm closing him. I reckon it's more my pace rather than his rear tyre, because I close in the sectors where I'm strong under hard braking on Aprilia. I reckon with this Aprilia now, if I had this back in Austria, I would have won. The bike has just come on leaps and bounds the last few weeks. And it's like I've said in every episode, it's been unfortunate that was when I was leaving that the bike kind of spiked up and got better. But these things happen. I am really looking forward to riding the bike that's in P3 at the moment next year. Again, turn 5, I don't think I've gotten that right any lap this race. But we are still under our current PB time, so we're on for a very fast lap again this lap around. Be interesting to see, could we dip into a 57, considering our pole time is pretty much what I did in the last lap of 58.3, which is ironic that I did on double hards. Shows the pace of the Aprilia. So a lap and a half remaining, and it looks like Bagnaia is slowing down. My pace as well isn't great. I'm starting to make a few more mistakes after setting that 57.9 on lap 4. Tyres are just have a lot of vibrations and chatter, but I still have much better stability over everyone else on the grid, especially the man in front, Bagnaia. Hard on the brakes. We make up a lot of time. We actually get way too deep in, and we actually slightly run off track. But so does he. I think we spooked him a small bit. And onto the grass as well. So terrible exit that time. Shaking ahead. We start the final lap. Here we are. Now we're 0.6 behind, and we know we can take about 3/10 out of him into sector 1. So look at the time we made up, and we get it stopped as well. Down to 4/10 now, the gap to Bagnaia. And getting through there, he just looks a bit tentative, tipping in. And we got our first track limits warning on the final lap. Thankfully we won't need the other 4. But again, through here, just using all the rubber now, just making up all the track. No need to save any tyre, need to push now and get him. We have a big gap behind, so I can't afford a bit of a lunge if I have to make it up. But we shall see what we can do. We want our second race win of the season. Probably our last chance of victory. I don't think I'll be on the pace at Valencia. I usually struggle at that track, so it would be interesting what our pace would be like on a pretty decent Aprilia now. But Bagnaia just seems to be pretty tentative on the edge of the tyre. Rins is actually closing us in ever so slightly, but it's not going to be enough. Once again, we make a lot of headway on the brakes. He just seems very slow out of the corner. But he's actually doing better than I expected. I thought Usually when they go for a soft rear on a track like this long, and that's how physical it is, the last 2 laps they're just spinning it up, and he's done a brilliant job. He goes slightly defensive going to turn 12. We're going to go on the outer line for turn 13 into 14, and he's going to run it wide. We're going to try and square him off, but again he just seems to get enough drive. But we are side by side with the Ducati. Up to the final corner we come, and we do have the lead. Just make sure we brake right now, and the bike's skipping on. We're going to tip in early. Oh, we touched the curb. We're running wide. Is he going to cut back on this? Yes, he does. Can we beat him to line? Power 3. And we've managed to beat him. Second race win of the season.
But it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, 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 let the light shine through.
So 1.3 of it, or 10th and a third, we beat Bagnaia by in today's race. Rins made a lot of time up on us on the final lap. He took out a lot of time, and Jack Miller on the last lap robbed my fastest lap at 57.3, which is just a silly lap time. Absolutely ridiculous sort of lap time. But moves us up to P6 in the championship, so we're only 88 points off, and that is pretty much confirmed that Bagnaia is championship. 25 points back to Quartararo with 1 race remaining. So yeah, it's pretty much confirmed now that Ducati are going to win their first championship since 2007. We are still in P5 in the team championship, so we're doing quite well, and Aprilia just sits in 3rd position in the constructors. So a good solid weekend all around, getting pole, almost getting the fastest lap, and getting the race win. So points are both of our youth riders there, and we've hit the max level headquarters for Aprilia. We get an extra couple of men sent over, which is quite ironic since we are leaving, but nonetheless it's good to see that we progressed fully in 1 season. And now in my race, you would have seen my fast lap was a 1 minute 57.9. You're about to see on screen now my fastest lap in the pre-season test was a 2 minute 0.5. So 2.6 seconds is the gap. I had to do a quick bit of calculation, but 2.6 seconds quicker. That's how much we've made up over the year. It'll be interesting to see. I'm going to use that time to compare what I do on the Suzuki when I go there in the pre-season in the next episodes. But I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and shall see you for another episode in the coming days. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.